Hello everybody. This is another video about rain, rain and more rain. And on a more serious note, the coronavirus. But going back to the weather, I'm not one of these global warming people. I don't really follow it that close, and I'm not versed enough to really have that much to say intellectually about global warming. We have a 100% chance of rain tonight. It rained all night last night in East Tennessee. I can't remember. Well, I remember in 1953, it rained for a couple of 3 days and we had a flood in the area. So back in the 50s, we were having some similar weather. And speaking of the weather, not as global warming or anything like that, there's always been weather, and there's always been extreme weather. Occasionally, we'll have a record-setting heat wave. I can remember not long ago, in fact, I have a video where I videoed a thermometer at a bank, and it was 105 degrees in East Tennessee. But there's always been times of extreme weather. A lot of people find it unusual that living in the mountains of East Tennessee, you would normally think that we'd have a lot of snow. We have a mountain, the mountains that, now I don't know the exact elevation, but to the west, the mountain range is part of the Cumberland Mountains. And if you go west, the western portion of the mountain is somewhere around 3,000. And then if you look toward the north, the elevation in that area is it's less than 3,000. I don't know the exact elevation. And I believe the elevation of the airport is somewhere around 1,700 feet above sea level. It appears that for the last 10 years, I guess, or longer, most winters we'll have less than 2 inches of snow, other than in the Smokies, and parts of the Smokies up around 6,000 feet. But down in the valley, at one time we had a lot of large snowfalls in the valley, in Powell Valley. Powell Valley runs for quite a distance and runs up into Virginia, I think, or near Virginia. And one year we had one snowfall that was over almost 3 feet. And that occurred in March, which was an oddity. I started to say anomaly, but it was just an oddity. We haven't had any white Christmases to speak of. In fact, I can't even remember a white Christmas in this area. But I can remember some fairly decent snowfalls. One year in Oak Ridge, they had, it was one of the bigger snows or the largest, one of the bigger snows we had. I'll say it colloquially. One of the bigger snows we had, it Now, this is what I was told. In Oak Ridge, they failed to scrape the roads, and the traffic was so heavy down there, the automobile traffic more or less smoothed the snow out, and a lot of it melted, but it froze, and it was thick. And I was told that the ice was so thick that they couldn't use scrapers on it. And at that time, now this is hearsay, they didn't have enough salt to put on the roads. And I can remember it was like riding your automobile in a rutted road. It was just ice, complete ice. Anybody that was around Oak Ridge at that time can remember and may have some different information about what I'm talking about. But back to the coronavirus, there's always something that is happening. If it hasn't already happened, it will eventually happen. A lot of the things, now, it seems to me like this coronavirus could be a man-made mistake. And we should have control over, if the virus came out of a laboratory, we should have control over that. But we don't have any control over Mother Nature. That is going to be a natural occurrence. That's the thing that is so discouraging about the coronavirus. If that was a man-made mistake, that's terrible. But that's what happens, and I think it happens more, well, you had Chernobyl. That was a communist country. The Soviet Union, of course, it split up after that. And now you have the coronavirus that some people are saying probably came out of one of the laboratories of a communist country. And what is it about that form of government? Is it more likely to happen in a communist country? Of course, we had 3 Mile Island, but that was contained. And one thing about in a democracy, if you're going to go out and build something, you have enough regulations that you can pretty much be assured that someone is going to try to make you do it as safely as you can. But anything man-made is not safe. You cannot manufacture an aircraft that will not crash. You can engineer an aircraft to where the odds of it crashing are very small. But anything man-made, you can bet that eventually something will go haywire. And that's just inevitable, that those things will happen. So what do? Well, you can't do anything. I mean, here I am, an old guy on YouTube talking about things that are completely beyond my control. So the only thing that we can do is just talk about it and hope that the scientists are smart enough that somebody will come up with a vaccine that will inoculate people and give them an immunity to this coronavirus. And I'm almost positive that someone will do that. I was telling someone on social media, if that happens, it probably won't be like a flu shot. I would say that everybody will be required to take that vaccination if they develop one. And that may be a good thing. You know, you have people figure, well, I have a right to do this or that. But this coronavirus could be so large and deadly that no one will have a freedom to circumvent what the authorities are going to do to control it. And this is just a rambling video from an old guy that was just thinking about those things today. So, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.